Hi everybody, welcome back to another unboxing video. My name again is Edgar Quadra, lead solution consultant here at Star Telecom. I say lead because recently I've been promoted to a lead position here at Star Telecom, so I'm very excited and usher in a new wave of releasing box videos with my newfound title. So for this month, we're going over the May 2024 release notes, and I'm flying solo today. My team is swamped with other tasks, so bear with me, and I promise we'll get through this together as most efficient as possible. Okay, so for the first week, we're going to start with May 6th. And here, the very first one I actually want to talk about is the improved Cloud Genesys announcements. So you might have noticed if you browse the release notes section quite a bit on their resource page center, there is this announcement section here. And I think it's really nice being able to have a different way of searching for what has been announced from a features perspective here in Genesys Cloud, and actually give us a planned effective date of when that particular feature was released. So it's broken down into certain categories. So UX, UI, right? So what's affecting the actual GUI environment, what features are being removed, from a platform perspective, so maybe like from the integrations perspective of what's the features there, and all announcements, right? So really nice little handy feature there as a quick way of seeing new release notes based on a different way of viewing it. So kudos to Genesys for doing that. I think that's going to be helpful, even for me as a solution consultant, when I'm in those sales meetings, being able to quickly recap or prep for a meeting. Having that tool is very handy for me. I really enjoy that. Okay, now let's move on to the next item in my agenda, and that is introducing architect journey flows for bot and digital bot flows. So what that means is when you go to the architect tool and you develop a bot flow in architect, there's this new section called journey flows, where for this flow, I don't have enough data in our lab, but I'm going to use screenshots here as an example here. So when you go and click on journey flows, Genesys does now a very, very nice visualization of the journey through that bot. So this would represent live data of customers interacting with the bot that you create. So if you were to hover over it, it would give you percentages of how often people or your customers are interacting with these certain sections of the bot. They're broken down by milestones, right? So that means they've achieved the next stage of the particular section of the bot flow. So Genesys visualize this now, and to give you a good representation of what the pattern is, or the interaction pattern of the bot with the customers. This data is now used by your developers, whoever's doing the bot. Us as Star Telecom partners, we take this data to constantly improve our clients' AI bots. So very useful visualization tool that Genesys has introduced. Okay. Next one here is real-time adherence, real-time alerts for out of adherence status. So what I'm really liking about this particular feature here is adherence gives the ability to see how often your agents are not meeting a particular metric or target around the conversation or the presence metric. So presence means their status is in there. So creating a new rule using the new rules engine within Genesys Cloud gives you the ability to create a rule around one of those key items. So in this case, conversation. So it could be what is after call work time. You know, if your agents are spending too much time in after call work time, then use the alerts feature, real-time alerts, to send you an email, send you a desktop notification. Same thing for presence. If they're in training or on lunch too long, you can go ahead and set up a real-time alert to trigger you, and then you can action on that. So nice little additional feature there that Genesys has brought out. Okay. All right, next one here is Analytics Viewer Column Picker Improvement. So what this now means here is under the performance views, and we start building out our views here within the environment or any performance views. I'm just going to go ahead and choose my Q performance as the example here. What this allows us to do here, and it's an improvement. I'm just going to get rid of this. It's an improvement here. So it's broken down these columns now into much more readable or organize them in their particular categories for the metric. So it's an upgrade in how this is sorted, and then you'll just go ahead and select it. Previously, I think the previous behavior is when you select it, it automatically adds that column to the view. You just have to go ahead and hit save the one time, and then it adds that column there. So nice little touch improvement there when it comes to building out your performance views. All right, so that ends it for this week in May. I'm going to move on now to May 13th. And the first one I want to look at here is view and edit imported data via the user interface in the contact list editor. So for those of us that are actively running outbound campaigns within the Genesys environment, we now have the ability to edit the uploaded list directly in the UI or the list manager. So under admin, I'm going to scroll down to my outbound. I'm going to go to my lists, and I'm going to search one that I've created for myself. This is just a preview. And then you would load your list there and go from there. But now down below, there's a new button called Edit Contacts. Go ahead, click on that. And now you can see all the records that have been loaded in here. And what's great here is you can actually click on that particular record, make an edit to the field, save it, and away we go. Right, so I think it's very, very powerful tool here. I think what, and I haven't tested it here yet, but I know that Genesys creates a lot of system results and writes it back to the list here. So I'm going to assume, and I should be able to, is if part of your campaign you have Genesys or the dialer writing back to the list here to capture, let's say, the count, the number of counts for an example, or the final results, you want that written back to the list here. You'll be able to go in real time and take a quick look via this view to see what the results were for that particular inbound count. Obviously, there's the interactions view that you can do this, but if you want to work directly from the list, this view is another area to do that. Okay. So next is the May 20th. So I'm going to open this up here. And the first item I'm going to start with is auto answer functionality for agents in preview campaigns. So this is super handy. So what this basically means here is for preview campaigns, when the call gets presented to the agent, the system will automatically answer or accept that call on the agent's behalf, not having the agent having to click answer. So what does this look like in actual within Genesys? I'm going to go back to my preview campaign here, and I have it running here, but I would go ahead and enable auto answer preview here, and then when I go on queue, this particular feature here, answer or decline, this would just automatically accept it, and then the agent would then they would start the outbound preview process, right? So they go through based on the preview, right? You go ahead and view what data is presented to the agent, and then you can go ahead and click start and start the campaign, begin the call. Okay, so that's a auto answer feature for preview campaigns. brand new. Again, that's going to create efficiencies. Really, the goal of this particular feature, I believe, for preview is just driving that efficiency a little bit up, where particularly maybe agents would miss that or maximize their time of that auto answer. So just give you the ability from an administration perspective to get through the preview list maybe a slightly faster with that auto answer feature. Okay. Right, so next one here is improve interval granularity for ad hoc export reports. Okay, so oops. And sorry everybody, that is my preview dialer automatically calling. So I just ended that interaction and we're back on our agenda here. So what this allows, when as a supervisor you're going to go ahead and export a particular report, that interval of that particular report, you have the ability now to fine tune that. So let's just actually show it, and I'll get right into it here. So I'm going to drill down into a particular campaign. Let's just go. I'm going to show Acme reports, and I'm going to go for this month. Give us some usable data. Okay. So, and I'm going to drill down one more date into there. So now when I go and export, you can see here, depending on some of the granularity available to me here, I'll now be able to set what the granular is. So if I go up one more level, yeah, so it's not included in this one. Yeah, so depending on if I have intervals there available or if there's options for the interval, I'll be able to go ahead and select the granularity that I want my export to be at. So that's just a new export feature that Genesys has introduced. Okay. Right. I'm going to keep with the same theme here. Another feature that's been introduced is edit and rerun scheduled reports. So administrators and supervisors can now reattempt exports directly from the inbox panel and also leverage the enhanced export capabilities. So there's a couple of things here that's available. Under the workspace, scheduled exports and others. So let's take a look at that quickly. So I'm going to create a new tab under other, and I have scheduled exports. So these are all the exports or export jobs that have been scheduled on the system. So there should be some permissions attached to this, but you can see here how often this particular report has been run. I'll be able to edit it, delete it, rerun it, turn it on and off. So very good that way. And I believe I should also be able to do that from here and be able to delete it and so forth. So there is some granularity to be able to view there. So view scheduled export. So from that particular area here, you'll also see that there's a bit more data. So any exports that I've created personally myself, how many have expired, how many are expiring soon. I think it's a nice little touch there. So if I heavily rely on my exports, then Genesys Cloud gives us a more centralized view on where those exports are. If I need to update them once again. So the next one here is Insights visual charting for supervisors. So there's under the Insights view, administrators have a bit more options on how that view is going to look like. So one of the prerequisites here, and I'm going to get better at this during our videos going forward here, is what's the license level. That's been a feedback from one of the comments there that we've had in our videos, but what is the license level for this particular feature? So I know specifically for this one, for Insights, requires a WME, so Workforce Engagement Management add-on to your license level, or CS3, so the full-blown one, right? So you need one of these licenses to be able to do the following, or unlock it. If I go to Performance Views, I go to Agent Performance, and I go to Insights. I'm a supervisor here, and Insights specifically in general gives us a very graphical, analytical view into all the supervisors or all the agents that I am personally responsible for. So I can go ahead and filter that a little bit more. Different areas in here. So when it comes to improvements, there's these particular new drop downs here. So sorted, I want to view it by different averages. Maybe I want to do a profile trending based on the metrics I see here. What's the trending overall that I have there? And I can go into settings a bit more and update what I want to see here on screen here. So it's an incredibly powerful tool. Unfortunately, our WFM expert, Alec, isn't on the call today. He'll be able to give us a bit more insight on how, from a quality management perspective, or from a QM perspective, or from a workforce management perspective, how this can be better utilized, or from that point of view. But this does gives us a lot of information here to see how my contact center agent performance is working, and how to use that as an aggregate against all my other agents, how they're doing kind of against each other. And I can use this either to provide coaching or look at particular trends and make appropriate actions based on that. Yeah. Right. So now let's move on to the next week's releases. So that's May 27th. The next feature here is interaction categories for interaction analysis. So this one, I think, has a lot of potential, and I can see where Genesys Cloud is going with this. So this is part of the sentiment and text analysis tool set. So you definitely need these upgrades here, as well as either Genesys Cloud 3. So now, so knowing now the license level, what actually is it? So if I go under the admin section here, and I've created a simple one earlier, under admin section and under quality, we now have interaction categories, and I create a category here just called product X, and it's for both voice and what's the criteria matching. So what Genesys intends for this to happen is based on the text and speech analytic data, so the keyword and topics that it's able to match in the transcription. So in this case, topics, and I did agent knowledge, and there's a whole under topics here. You can see the number of keywords that are under that particular topic. But what this is now doing is based on either the topic that gets detected, or what's cool here is you can actually set up some terms. So these are very specific to, or a term, but can be very specific to what category, or sorry, very specific to your particular business or queue. In this case, for product X is, anytime someone mentions product X support, either by the internal or by the customer or the agent, and it's found at least once, or maybe a couple times here, and within certain parts of the interaction, once that's done, then the product category or that interaction category is going to be set to product X. So basically what it is based on what's being said in interaction, have Genesys categorize the call. This does potentially a couple of things here is how well are your agents categorizing based on wrap-up code, as opposed to how well Genesys Cloud as a system is determining what the category is of that particular call. That now can be fed up to reporting. So under workspace and under the interactions details section of a particular interaction here, I don't have it set for product X yet, but under categories, so this is the details section, and under categories, any categories that have been set and that this interaction matches up against will show up in here. So now I know as a business, these interactions are now being categorized by the system by this. So that gives me reported now data. I could use this from a quality management perspective, that the agents are categorizing or wrapping up the call potentially in the correct manner. I can see if I take a big data approach to this, I can export this into a tool like Microsoft Power BI or another tool like that, and then run big data analysis to see for the last 3 months when product X was launched, how many times is support being mentioned? Are there now defects around product X or so forth? Genesys is categorizing that. This category yet isn't a column, is not a column available in the interactions or the content view search yet. As far as I know, I haven't been able to actually find it as a potential column or filter type. But I'm definitely pretty sure that's going to be coming down the line where we should be able to filter based on the category that Genesys is set in there. So I'm definitely looking forward to see how this feature evolves, and I'm really enjoying where it could go and how it can be used by our clients there. Okay. Next here is file attachments via supported content profiles. So content profiles is something when you use within your Messenger or web messaging deployment. You can create this content profile, and based on that profile, what certain files are you allowed to be attached or passed through to that medium, either by the customer or by the agent. So these are the main categories, and then what are the actual file types within that are being allowed within those categories. So that's a nice little additional feature from, let's say, a security standpoint, what's being passed through in that channel of interactions. Next one is queue segmentation for canned responses. I don't know why, but I'm very excited for this particular review. Again, this is available across all license levels, it looks like. And where this is managed, so under the admin section and under canned responses, boom, in here. And under my libraries, right, I could see here that this library is set to this particular queue. So now, instead of my whole contact center and all the queues I've created in there pull from the same number of libraries, we can get very granular now and say for this new insurance library, I can go ahead and match it up to, I can match it to this particular queue. Okay, so under queues, and I'm going to do my Acme demo here. Acme support. Under canned responses in here, I can go and specify which libraries are going to be available for this particular queue. So now we can get very granular in the number of libraries that are available for that particular queue or for that use case. Now those libraries canned responses are now searchable as well, and they can be utilized during the agent assist processes as well. So very incredible feature there. Definitely, it's included on all your license levels. So if you're not using canned responses, totally go ahead and do that. It's kind of your poor man's agent assist in a way, without having to pay for that license level. Again, you can create a knowledge-based library kind of like this using canned responses. I know it's going to be merged with potentially the knowledge workbench later on, but right now use it as a knowledge repository, and this new feature kind of enhances that poor man's agent assist in a way. Okay, don't tell Genesys I said that though. Okay, next one here is Supervisor WEM dashboard. So WEM refers to, again, this is the license level. So we need the upgrades on GC1, GC2, or GC3. Once we have that, though, and you've paid for that, is this new dashboard. Previously, it was only an agent dashboard like this. So this displays a lot of the same evaluations for me, summary, scorecard for quality assurance, the gamification, learning modules, so forth and so forth, like that. Well, now there's a dashboard for supervisors as well. So some of the supervisor widgets that are available here for me, I can rearrange their real-time adherence. So based on the adherence data that we have, how many of those individuals are currently right now, how many of them are out of adherence, in adherence, so forth and so forth. So with just not having to go into the adherence section of WFM, I'll be able to go ahead and look at that very quickly. Learning performance, so that's similar, but this would, I believe, also show direct reports. Yeah. So how many of my agents are directly reported to me, and this would give me a synopsis of how many learning modules are out there, what is the completed, what is the scores, same thing with compliance, and so forth and so forth here. So very nice little dashboard, and I can definitely see as Genesys evolves, more specific widgets for the supervisor. Yeah. All right, so everybody, we made it. It has been the May 2024 release notes. Again, Edgar Quadra, Solutions Consultant here at Star Telecom. Thank you for your time. Please remember to like and subscribe the YouTube channel. Definitely, we want to get this Genesys knowledge out to as many Genesys users as possible. Again, thank you for your time. Have a great day.